Hey guys, welcome to week 4 of Mindful Mondays. Today or this week we're going to talk about anger and a new strategy that you guys can use to help calm yourself down if you do start to feel a little bit angry. And mom and dad, this one's for you too, because I know that there's going to be some things that are happening inside your house that make you probably feel a little bit angry. So kids, if it's you, whether it's a new I-ready lesson that you feel like you already finished, and it's tested the same thing, or your brother or sister is just getting on your nerves, or mom is asking you to take out the garbage for the 4th day in a row. And mom and dad, I know some things that might make you a little angry, like you've been asking to take that garbage out 4 days in a row and it just hasn't gotten done yet, or the dishes in the sink just keep piling up and nobody's doing them or taking responsibility for them. There's a lot of things during this quarantine time, big or little, that make us feel some of those feelings of anger, and it's okay. You're allowed to feel angry about certain things. The important part and the most significant part about when you do feel angry is how you respond to that. So I'm going to teach you guys a new calm down strategy today. So let's talk about our second step process for calming down. Remember when you feel those feel uncomfortable feelings, any uncomfortable feeling, but this week we're focusing on anger. So if you do start feeling those feelings of anger, I feel them. I know in my fists, when my fists start to get pretty tight and maybe my stomach starts to churn a little bit, the first step is to say stop. And the second step is to name your feeling. So you say, stop, I'm feeling angry. And the third step is to calm down. So in the past, when we were at our Palm Bay Elementary building during your SES class, you learned counting either up or down to 10, taking those deep belly breaths, or any of those other strategies that Miss Cat, Mrs. Smith, or I taught you. But this time we're gonna do a mindful walk. So what is mindful walking? Mindful walking is more than just a leisurely walk down the street. Instead, there is a purpose and there's a focus to the walk. Okay, things to remember about mindful walking. It's not about the destination. It's not about where you go. Today, when I do my mindful walk, I'm just gonna do it around my front yard. And kids, if you are gonna do this, make sure it's okay with mom and dad. If you're gonna go outside, whether it's just your backyard, your front yard, maybe you take a family walk or a family stroll in the evening, this is a really good time to practice mindful walking. So when you are in a moment when you're feeling angry, that you've already done it, and so it comes a little bit more naturally. So another thing to remember about mindful walking is it's about focusing and noticing things along the way. It's a pretty slow-paced walk. Sometimes it's done in silence, but if you're doing it with mom or dad, maybe you can talk things out. So for today's mindful walk, we're going to focus on 4 of our 5 senses. So take a minute and think about if you can remember all 5 of your senses. If you were able to think of all 5, great job. So let's review them really quickly. Our 5 senses are our sight, our hearing, our touch, our smell, and our taste. So today we're going to focus on all of them except for taste. Because when we're on a mindful walk, we probably shouldn't be tasting anything out there that's in nature. So we're going to focus on our sight, our smell, our hearing, and our touch. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but I usually take my senses everywhere I go. So as long as you've got those 4 senses with you, let's go. Okay, so I'm walking out my front door, and the first thing that I notice, the first scent, besides just kind of feeling the fresh air, is my scent. I smell these flowers that I grow right on my front porch. So when you notice one of your senses, when you choose one, I chose to start with smell, and I smell these beautiful flowers. Talk about everything that you notice about that that scent or that sense. So when I'm talking about my smell, I notice that the flowers, they smell good. It's not a stinky smell, so it's a good smell for me. And they smell a little bit sweet. So you really want to take some time and notice that sense, and just kind of sit with it. Remember, it's a slow, mindful walk. Okay, so the second sense that I'm going to focus on is my hearing. So I'm not sure if you guys can pick up on it, but I hear like a saw in the distance, a power saw. So somebody must be doing some kind of housework at their house. That's what I'm thinking of. And maybe I can use my imagination a little bit to think, I wonder what they're doing at their house that they need a power saw. Maybe they're building a new swing set in their backyard. Maybe they're putting on a new back porch. Maybe they're building a fence. And now I hear my puppy barking a lot. So I was kind of grateful before that she wasn't barking, but now she's going. So I know you guys can hear that one too. It's okay to notice more than one sound when you're focusing on hearing, because sometimes there's a lot, but it's kind of important to focus just on one or two, because otherwise it might get a little too overwhelming for your brain. Okay, the next sense that I'm going to focus on is touch. And I'm not really touching anything with my hands right now, but so although I'm not focusing on touching anything with my hands, I've got my feet in the grass. So I'm going to focus on what it feels like to have my feet in the grass. I can wiggle my toes and I feel the long blades, and some of these dried up ones are prickling me a little bit. So you can touch things with your feet and your hands. Okay, so the last sense that I have is my sight. So I'm gonna find something in my mindful walk in my front yard that I wanna focus all my attention on. So I don't know about you guys, but in my front yard, I've got a bunch of these little ant piles. So they're surrounded by sand, and they have the little hole in the middle that the ants come in and out of. And maybe if I wait patiently enough, one will come in and out. Oop, there goes one. I'm not sure if you can see it. So the ants are little red ones. They're the fire ants, so you have to be very careful not to get bitten. But use your imagination. What do you think their life is like underneath the ground? So there are lots of ways that I can describe that little ant pile by using my eyes and focusing really, really hard on it. By focusing on the 4 of my 5 senses on my mindful walk, it would take my mind off of something I know that would make me feel a little angry. So it's a really kind of calming experience. Everybody has different things in their front yards, in their backyards, or in their neighborhood. If that's something that you can do, is walk around your neighborhood. It's up to mom or dad though. So I'm interested to see what kinds of things that 4 of your senses bring up. So remember, I heard that saw going on in the distance and my doggy barking. I could see the anthill in the grass, and I could feel the grass, some of the fresh stuff, some of the dry stuff, and I could smell those flowers on my front porch. And all of that was just in my front yard. I can only imagine what I would come up with on a mindful walk in my neighborhood. So now that you guys came along with me on my mindful walk, it's your turn. What are you going to be able to see, to smell, to hear, and to touch on your mindful walk? And remember, it's a really great calming strategy if you're starting to feel a little bit angry about something that happened at home this week. But try to practice it when you're not angry too, so that it comes a little bit more naturally to you if you do have to use it as a calm down strategy. All right, guys, I hope you have a great week. I miss you.